Chase continued to yell at Victor. "I'll if you touch her." By now, everyone in the bar was looking at him. Who was this person who dared to speak to Victor that way? Did he not know what Victor was capable of? Not many who spoke ill of Victor lived to talk about it. "You've got quite a temper," chuckled Victor. "I like it." Standing beside him, Bob knew that he was putting on a show. Inside, he must have been fuming. Bob was quick to act in his place. He walked up to Chase and said, "Do you want to quit your yelling and show some respect?" Meanwhile, his remaining men formed a barrier between Chase and the bar's exit points. Bob continued to yell at him. He kicked at the back of his knees and knocked him to the ground. "You're lucky I didn't break your legs. Apologize now." Chase's eyes went dark. "Just try, and I won't apologize." When Victor heard this, he lost his composure. He had never seen someone who didn't cower in his presence, and he wouldn't stand for it. He slammed his fist on the table and shouted, "Bring him to me." On Victor's order, Bob's men lifted Chase to his feet and began to drag him toward Victor. Chase broke loose and grabbed for his cell phone. He pressed a button and was immediately connected to Chuck. If anyone could help him out of this situation, it was Chuck. He'd been on the other side and knew who the players were. Chuck answered quickly. "Mr. Rothman, what is it?" "It's Victor Antonov. He's after Celia. Meet me at Bar Tropicale." He paused. "And Chuck, I want you to personally see to that Victor never does business in Lauderdale again." The bar erupted in whispers. Did he say Chuck? Chuck Stevens? It couldn't be. After hanging up the call, Chuck got right to work. He knew that Victor was no one to trifle with. Chase had gotten himself into a real mess. Victor had his hands in all of the South Harbor District and much of the rest of Lauderdale. Food, real estate, clubs, everything. His reach knew no end. Although he'd been out of the business for a long time, Chuck still had friends on the inside. He heard more than enough about Victor to know he had to get to Chase right away. It was also likely that Victor didn't know who he was holding hostage inside the Bar Tropicale. He may have been Victor Antonov, but he could never match the power of the Rothman Empire. Chuck made his way over to the South Harbor District. It had been many years since he'd run the area, but he still remembered every street as if it was just yesterday. On his way, he placed calls to friends and former subordinates. Despite their animosities, bosses from all over the city would answer his call. Lucas was one such leader who received a call from him that evening. Lucas answered his phone almost immediately. "Hey man, what's going on?" Chuck quickly explained the situation. Lucas was puzzled. You really want me to make a move on Victor?" Chuck didn't waste any time in explaining. "He has Mr. Rothman and has threatened him and his family. We have no other choice." Lucas hung his head low. It was all too recently that he'd come up against the full weight of Chase's power. He was still worried. "Chuck, come on. Victor's too strong. You know that more than anyone. Mr. Rothman is powerful, but—" Chuck cut him off. "Lucas, you worry too much. It's possible that at this moment, no one in Lauderdale is stronger than the two of us. Do you know why?" He smiled to himself. "Because we have Mr. Rothman standing behind us." Lucas had nothing left to say, only doubts that he did not dare to utter. Was Chase really that powerful? Meanwhile, back at Bar Tropicale, Bob and Victor couldn't help but laugh. "Did I hear you right?" said Bob. "Did you just threaten to kick Victor out of Lauderdale?" Bob's men now joined in on the mocking. Who does this guy think he is? Where does he get the courage? I'm gonna die from laughter. No one in Lauderdale can even think to match Victor. Chase was just listening to everyone's japes, not saying a word. He just looked at them pitifully. Some people think they've reached the highest pinnacle, when really, they can't even fathom that there is so much more out of reach. Well, Chase would show them. Unsurprisingly, Victor didn't take Chase's threat seriously. He lit a cigarette and puffed out some smoke, and he said lightly, "Boy, I want you to consider the consequences before you speak again. Kick me out of Lauderdale." He laughed. "I don't think you've done your homework. Do you know how many businesses I have in Lauderdale? Do you know how many people are loyal to me in the city? This is my turf, buddy." "Is that so?" Chase smiled. He didn't pay heed to Victor's threats. If he wanted it done, Victor and any trace of him would be gone by morning. Just then, a pulled up in front of Bar Tropicale bearing the license plate number 000. Those who were familiar with it knew that it was a special government-issued plate, given to those who wielded tremendous power. The plate allowed the car to run red lights or call any time for a police escort. It was treated much in the same way as was a military vehicle. In this case, the car belonged to Tim Sanders. Still outside the bar, watching everything, Cicely and Andy and the others were shocked to see Tim's car arrive. "It's Tim Sanders' car," they whispered to each other. "Look, it's actually Tim Sanders' car. What's the richest man in Lauderdale doing here?" Today's events were one for the history books. Could it be that Tim was also here for Chase? Cicely thought about it for a moment and then dismissed the thought as too unbelievable. Suddenly, the door opened and a middle-aged man in his 40s stepped out. He was wearing a suit and his hair was meticulously slicked back. After getting out of the car, he buttoned up his jacket and glanced inside the window to the bar. He then calmly walked inside carrying a black box. Inside the bar, Bob and Victor were looking at Chase with mocking expressions when one of Bob's men ran up to him and whispered, "Boss, Tim Sanders' assistant Kyle Moroney is here." What? Hearing this, they both jumped up from their chairs.
Please subscribe to the Pocket FM YouTube channel and press the bell icon for instant notification. Check out our channel for more such exciting shows.